Good afternoon, good morning, good evening and good night. Something like that. Today I'm going to make a bookmark. Yes, looks like rather a lot, doesn't it? But I also want to explain about using some recycled items. So this is a box of tissues. Yeah, I think I got it from, I don't know, Lidl, something like that. Anyway, so you can use that. This one's unused, but this one has been used and opened out. Another round. And all I would do now is take a pair of scissors and trim this bit. Now, a lot of people prefer to do things without being wonky. So, good idea is to just line that up and draw down there using any kind of pencil-y thing. I happen to have a red one here, so that you can get a nice straight line. And that doesn't look too straight, so I would move it. I'm trying to save as much of it as possible, so I'd have to move it a little bit. There you go. Does that look straight to you? Looks straighter than it did before. So then I would just trim that off and do the same on the other side, and then you've got a piece of usable card without funny bits. Now, I wouldn't put this into a guillotine, mainly because it's too darn big for a guillotine. But also, I mean, if it's not quite so long this way, you could get it in a guillotine. But you can't see it is too long. So you do that with both edges, like that. Sometimes you can find a use for the scraps, sometimes not. But you're using more than you would otherwise. Anyway, so cut both sides, and there you are, you've got a piece of card. I would then cover that with gesso, and then there you go. I would also make it a bit stronger by putting another piece on. Like, I've got one here that I have already begun painting. As you can see, it's a bit flimsy, it got a bit torn, so I would put another sheet on there. And because this is bendy here, I would put my other sheet, which is painted cornflakes. So was this one, actually, the first one. I mean, I've shown you books of tissues. Here's packet of cornflakes. I would put that there, and then if you look, there's the line of the underneath piece, and there's the line of these, where the folds are, I mean. I'd cut that piece off, and that you can use as a bookmark. So we get to the bookmark. So let's cut that off. So we've got something to work with as a bookmark. So I'll obviously cut this bit so that I can get on with it without mucking about. So let's put these out of the way. And there we are. I will now cut these pieces off. Now, there are other ways to do bookmarks if you don't happen to have any cardboard waste, which frankly I find quite hard to believe, but there we go. You can use something else, like grey board. You can see that it's much thicker, the grey board is. Yeah, a whole lot thicker and stiffer. And that's what I did with a previous bookmark. Here, just let me open my book. You see that it's quite thick. It's made from slightly thinner grey board. So you can do that. Or you can simply double up. So I've got a piece of card there which is a bit on the flimsy side. I mean, in it. So I would go down the centre and then double it up, use some PVA, glue it together, and then come back to you. Okay. Right, when you're sticking two bits of card together, either put heavy weight on it, or another way you can do it is to grab a load of these little bulldog clips and use those to apply pressure on the bits that are trying to curl up. So I just go along. Ooh, that's squidged out quite well. In which case I think I'd like to clean it first. Like that. And put it on. And you go all the way round, like I have with this smaller one. Yeah. Just two small, shorter pieces of card. So you've got a shorter bookmark there. There's a reason for that. I'll show you later. Okay, now I've got the bigger one all clamped up. Now if you want to do it in the way of just putting something heavy on, like I've got a bench block there, or a pot, Bob Ross Black Noir Gesso, doesn't matter, anything that's hefty and will hold things down. But if you're going to do that, just you've got two bits of card together, just imagine if this squeezes out with glue, if you put a bit much glue in, then I recommend that you use something like this cut-right wax paper, or I think you might get away with cling film, or a plastic bag, you know, one of the bags you put the rubbish out in, one of those would do fine. I'd usually just cut the end off and open it out, so I've got protection for my screen when I'm spraying, and it means that you can stick things down, and then when everything's stuck you just peel it off the bag or the waxed paper, and it works fine. That way you don't get a messy desk. Or you can use one of those Ranger sheets. I've got one somewhere. I've got one attached to a bed type tray that I use occasionally, and I've got one rolled up somewhere as well. Also there's a rolled up, hang on, I had one a second ago. As I was saying, you could use one of these. This is a mat for doing glue gunning. As you can see from the little, well, you wouldn't be able to if I moved everything out of the way. Little glue gun design on it. So that's what that mat is for, but you could use that, then put your card or whatever on top of there, and then any glue's just going to peel straight off. It's a silicone mat, so it's fine. Right. Now, I've just painted this one side of it with gesso. I will do the other side and we'll get on with the next stage. This one I'm just taking out of the waxed paper. Nice and glued down there. I will keep the waxed paper there because it will help to protect things. I mean, I've got stuff on there. And we just give it a good gessoing all the way over, you know. I usually try to do just one side at once because I've tried doing two. What a mess. Well, here we have the short bookmark and the long bookmark, which I'm going to cut down, but not quite as much as this one. And we'll leave that one for the moment. Been glued together, but so it's this one. I've also put a piece of card on this one. And on the other side, I'm thinking what to do. And let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? There we are. So what I'm thinking of is this, these little bits of steampunk paper that I stamped in big, you know, A4 size, and then shrank down to these little tiny pieces. And I've been sorting through them and deciding what to use, and I think I've come to a decision. I've also been looking at some previously coloured cards, and I think I've decided on this one. I want a piece of that, which I'm going to cut and place on there. So cut there. Plus I want to embed a piece of ribbon underneath here, like that. And I want to put this large letter S, don't ask me why, I just like the S, on the top, sort of top there. Now I know it's sort of lumpy, but yeah, tough. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Also, I did another one about the same sort of size as this, and it's been being glued. I'll show you what's been happening with that under here. So I've glued two pieces together. I've got to trim it, but I've also incorporated some ribbon in that one, and you can see it's looking quite good. I'm quite happy with it anyway. But again, I've got to put some other things at the top. But I'm going to trim this down to make it to a more even size, because you can see that this is, it's not exactly flat, is it? It's not even. So I'll sort that, and I'm going to cut this piece to go on top of there. So I'll line that up using the other side, of course. And I'll make a nice little pencil mark on it. Put that out the way. It's up here so you can see it properly. There we are. So I'll draw a line there. Might be a little wide for it, but I think I'll cut that down a teensy bit. Again, just this side of it. There we are. I can trim the rest of it once I get it stuck down. That's a bit wide there, isn't it? Right, so that, hopefully, should go on top there. Will it fit? Like I said, I can trim it a little bit. I think it will. Yes, that's quite good. That makes a change. Normally when I do things like that, I find out it's well out. But that's pretty good. Don't really want it to be very much thicker than that, so that's going to be the last bit, I think, those pieces. So what I've got to do now is glue that with the red ribbon. I'm not sure if I'm going to use any more ribbon than that. I think I'll just use the one piece. It's just a little piece. I mean, this one has got excess ribbon, but I quite like it like a little fringe. I will trim the bottoms to be a more pleasing shape. Like, if you can see at the moment, one of them's got a pleasing shape, the blue one, but the rest are just sort of raggedy. So I'll sort that out. See, I looked through various letters and I like the R, but no, it didn't seem to go very well. And I quite like the B, but nah. And when I saw the S, it was like, yes, that works. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll get back to you when I've glued everything down. It's just a question of sitting there and sticking it under here and waiting for it to set. I'm just going to add a piece of paper to the back of this one, the one with the arrangement of ribbons. And I've decided on a piece of zoo paper. I've got a zoo here, Colchester Zoo, and they make this rather nice paper that comes with your wraps or whatever you buy to eat there. So I thought I'd take a bit of that and bung it on here. So that's what I'm doing. I've gone over it with a scrapey thing, so let's just try and spread the glue out a bit. Here we go. And I'll just leave that to set. Just going to do the top of this. I've rounded off the corners using a little corner rounding punch. And now I painted this side with black gel, so that one already had the white on. Now I'm going to use this stencil. I've chosen to use these 3 little butterflies. So it's going to go on there. Like that. Okay. First time I've ever come across a pre-coloured paste like this. Normally you have to colour it yourself, and then when you've finished, the darn thing's so pale, so it's nice to see a dark one. Ooh, that's not bad at all. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, what we have at the moment are 3 future, well, bookmarks. I say 3 future. And this one is pretty good on that side. I want to do something else on this side. But that's not too bad. Hey, I'm really pleased with that actually. But that's a bit bleh, so we've got to do something else there. This one is looking quite nice on this side. It's a much longer one, you can see compared to this one that it's quite a bit longer. But I don't have anything on this side, so I've got to do the other side of that one. And this one has got something on this side, got lots of ribbons, and I'm ready to do something on that side. I know what I'm going to do on there. I'm going to go back to a really old school thing, which is embossing. And I've got a detailed silver here. I think I'm going to have a go with that. I was quite pleased with the stamping of this. This is using Colourbox chalk. And it's alabaster, that colour. And I used this stamp, which I have no idea what it is. It's a Hero Arts, but I don't know exactly what it's called. It doesn't seem to have any kind of... Oh, wait a minute. Manuscript background. But it's quite an old one, you can see, because it's on wood. Right, I've changed my mind about what I was going to do with this one. You can see what I've decided to do. It's not stuck on yet, but I've just been taking them out of the little box. I got a new die, and I like these little die cuts, so I'm going to use those. And on this one, it was something I was looking at last night, and I've decided to go for it. What I'm going to do is go over it with this thread, and it makes a really lovely effect against the black. And it's not that bad on the other side either, so that's what I'm going to do. See? I'm not sure how to secure that down. You've got to secure one end down really firmly and then go with the rest of it. And on this one, I really don't like this paper very much. It's meh, so, or as they call it, meh, which is about right. So I'm going to put some feathers on, I think. I'm still thinking about that one. I would like to use that big J because I just like it, but I'm still thinking about that as well. So I'm just going to use your Mod Podge to put it on. I'll get back to you when I've got them stuck on. I want to use Mod Podge so I can go over the top and perhaps brighten the colour a little or darken it a bit, you know. I've been thinking about what to do for that other side of this particular bookmark that I don't like the colour of, but I love this side. So I thought, I've been looking at all my different papers from this through various other pieces, and I sort of hesitated over a couple, like that one. I'm still thinking about that one. I quite like that. Imagine that on it. That would be a nice contrast to the other side. What do you think? Possible. Don't know. Thinking about that. Or there's this. Now, I like this because of the lovely texture I put into it, if you remember from before. Then there's this one. I just like the colour. I mean, it would make a nice sort of mixing with the other side. But you're only going to get that much. I don't know if that might be a bit much on the pinkiness, or it might be a bit too little on that. I'm still thinking about that. Or as I say, this one I think is a better choice, because it's got the same sort of tones and colours as the other side, this sort of bluiness here, is matched here, sort of matched, but it's not quite the same. It's got this nice darkness down here. And I might go for that, I think. And then I was looking at the washi tapes to give it some different interest. And the trouble is, there's very little I like about washi tape. I find it very set, very limiting. But I quite like that one. Only on that. Maybe not. That. That's too much. That. Well, a small piece possibly, because it sparkles and moves. And I like things like birds and the pointy finger and film and what else? Music and piano keys. Well, I did have piano keys before I threw it on the floor, but I'll get that later. But anyway, I don't think it would quite go. I mean, it might. I don't know. I'll have to see when I've got it on the piece. And then there's my own washi tape. I like my own washi tape. Well, I would. I made it. So if I don't like it, nobody will. Put that light on. There we are. And I quite like this piece. I was looking at it and thinking about it. But then there's this piece down here that I quite like, and the colour is quite good. And then there's pieces of this one. It's got my own poetry on it as well, so little phrases that I like pop out at me. Little bits and bobs, and I go, yes, possibly. And I rather like this one as well. And I've got some more of that in the smaller version that I did things with, you see. So that was the complete big piece. And I then went and shrunk it down using the scanner and the computer. And maybe I could use bits of it. So I'll get back to you when I've had a good think. Well, I scraped and pushed the glue around on here. I'm sorry if people like that one, but it's always a matter of personal choice, and I'm the one that's going to be using these bookmarks, so I went for what I like. So we'll pop that on there. Like that. And I will just leave that to set. I don't know about the rest of it, but there we go. We're going to leave that set up. These I think are finished now. I like it plain, that one. I mean, there's not much to it, but it's only a bookmark. It doesn't need to be anything special. These pastes, crackle pastes from, what's it from? Yeah, Cosmic Shimmer crackle paste. The one on the top there, trying to get the light better, is pretty good. You can see the crackle on it, I think. Yeah? It's quite nice. The red isn't so good. I've tried darkening it. It's still not very good. It's bright pink before blue. There we go. And once that is set, it won't take very long. I'll be able to finish that. And this one, I think I'm going to leave that as that is as well, because I do like the effect of the light on the thread, gold thread. All it is, I mean, this is sewing machine thread. You can put it in it's a metallic embroidery thread. You can put it in a sewing machine, so. Oh, I think that's pretty cool. In memory of the trip to the zoo. And some nice little ribbons, and that's all you really need. So this, once this side is done, will be the end. And I think I'm going to do some of those little bits there. Like a piece of that one. It's just to sort of, not copy exactly, but mimic and complement the other side, which already has these sort of things but in a different design. So I think that's going to be really nice. And I'll trim this after it's set up, once the glue is dried. And I've had another idea for a bookmark, like a kind of study bookmark or shopping list bookmark. And what I'm going to do with that piece is start with a piece. I will trim that down, obviously, and then put different things on it to build it up like this. And then I'm going to put a kind of book effect on here, and it will have, rather like these little mini journals we were doing before, if you remember. but it's going to be long and thin, and it will go on the top, and you'll be able to open it out and put little, it'll only be that size, it won't be that big, it'll only be that sort of size. So just a little mini pad, as it were, on the bookmark. Obviously not as thick as this one, but that's the idea. Then you can open it up and make little notes in it. Particularly useful if you're a student and you're studying something, especially if what you're studying is the book that you're using the bookmark on. So you put your bookmark in there and then you make little notes as to what page to look, cross-reference something with. Or, as you're sitting reading your book, you may suddenly decide that you need to buy some more bread. Shopping list. Bread. Eggs. There you go. That was my idea. Right, I'm going to put this piece of washi tape on. It's from one of my large pieces washi tape that I made a long time. Well, not that long ago, a month or two. Take that off. Okay, just stick it there, more or less, I think. Yes. And then these pieces are just ordinary paper, so I'm going to put a bit of stuff on the back. Each piece now, got a lot of glue on that one, so I'm going to nick a bit off it for that one. Just to cover the edges to make sure it doesn't come up. And a bit more on this one. And that one. Yeah. So now that this one, although it does not match, it has a similar theme with the washi tape and the pieces on it. And this one, which is a similar colour, just knocked up, and it's got the little notepad idea on it with the little bits of paper. There we go. And I used that nice orange one I was hesitating about using, so it's an opportunity to do that. So there we are, we have 1, 2, glue out the way, 3, 4, and they are double-sided, so there's different patterns on the sides. And there you go. I can add more decor to this if I want to, but actually I'm quite happy with it the way it is. It's rather nice to see the textured papers I made before. Right, here is all the bookmarks that I've done so far. This is the first one I did some time ago using a piece of washi tape on there and a piece of washi tape on there and just some decoration stamps, little stamps around the edge, put my name at the top, and I used the words fire and spirit there. I just felt like it. So there's that one. Did that one some time ago. For this project I've done these little ones here. This one with the little book. and the blank, well, the undecorated area, because I'm quite happy with the decoration that I had before. That's the one with the crackle paste at the top on the butterflies and the sort of splodge, and the delicate little textured background script stamp, and the nice little seahorses, jellyfish, fish and starfish on the back. I like that. And then there's this one, which is really simple. It's got little fancy ribbons on it, and it's got just gold thread bound over, wound and wound and wound over it, on black on this side, and with the zoo piece of paper from the zoo on the other, like that one. And then there's this one that has the same textured paper as we used on this one, and a single ribbon, because that way when you have your book and you put your marker in it, the ribbon shows you where the page is. See? Happens to be the book I'm reading at the moment. And on the other side of that is a big letter S, and some more paper that I liked, and some more little pieces of steampunk papers. Now, I may use this J on one of them, but actually I'm quite happy with them the way they are. And I went a bit overboard with this one, putting an S on there and make it really chunky, but I don't know. I think I'll leave it for now. So there we are. Thank you for watching, and do look at all the other hashtags that will lead you to other videos that will be mentioned in the description below for other people doing the same sort of projects. We have 12 Days of Christmas with the Junk Journal people, and there will be links to each one, as I say. And if you go to the Friendly Junk Journal Facebook page, there will be links to other projects in the same series, the 12 Days of Christmas. Okay, goodbye.